Oh, sorry. Good evening. Welcome to the Art of Craft, and welcome to what I'm calling. Oh, hair looks a mess. Welcome, what I'm saying, to what we're calling this week a midweek update. So we have got a few special offers today, but we're not doing our usual midweek bang special offers. But I'll explain all that in a minute. Let's just say hello to a few people. Hello, Susan, Audrey, Valerie, Irene, Jackie, Janet McRae. Evening, Janet. I hope you had a good weekend. I hope everyone did. Yvonne. Yeah, so welcome if you're watching us either on Facebook or on YouTube. And this is where I normally switch over and look as if my eyes have gone somewhere else to see if anyone's actually watching on YouTube. And we are. Hello, YouTube, if you're watching. So just remember. Oh, Deborah Horton's watching. Evening, Deborah. Hey, Deborah. Evening, our lovely Kathy and Jan. So welcome to the Art of Craft. If you're watching on YouTube, we can't see the comments. So I can't actually see the comments, so I'm not able to actually respond to any questions. But if you have got any questions or anything that you want to actually ask, pop onto Facebook and just in the question section, click Q or type Q or question, then your question afterwards, and I will try my hardest to answer it for you. And that's what I'm going to try really, really hard to do too. Evening, Mary and Sarah Jane's watching. So what are we doing tonight? What's different tonight? Well, normally we go through and we do a load of special offers and we do things like that on a Wednesday. But we've decided this week, because we did that big launch on Sunday, and obviously, you know, we've got special offers on Saturday and we've got another launch on Sunday. So absolutely beautiful pens. I know I shouldn't tell you that, but absolutely got something I've been after for a long, long time. But we've got those. So we thought what we'll do tonight is, as I promised on the craft store, I'll do another set of demonstrations all about the new collection we launched on Sunday. But a couple of bits I did want to mention as well is that we have got the spring offers at the minute. And these are absolutely amazing because they're effectively almost like half price offers. So I did think it would be really fair to run through those because I don't want anyone to miss out. And these were, I think, going to finish on Bank Holiday Monday, but didn't. So I even checked with Jane this week, today, and said, oh, any chance that we could keep those on? She was like, yeah, keep them on for tonight. So what are we on about? I'm going to switch you over so you can see the overhead on this one. So we've got 3 different special offers. And they all are all absolutely crazy. So let's go on to the first one. So the first one I want to show you is not this one. This is the one we're doing. So this is everybody who's been after our collection of guillotines. Now, again, I hate doing this, pulling it up so much because you probably see my big belly. Can you see how big that is? That is our 12-inch guillotine. So this is a flatbed 12-inch guillotine. And it will take up to 12 inches. So if you've got a piece of A3 card, and of course I happen to have a piece here, which I'm hoping this is, you've got an absolutely massive, oh, I forgot this one. This one is the vellum, isn't it? This is bigger. Get some proper A3 card, John. Get some proper A3 card, John. That's the best thing to do. So can you see here? It actually fits, and it fits all the way in. It's not going to fit in your smaller or your tiny one. So this is absolutely perfect. Oh, Susan said she ordered the guillotines. I don't blame you, Susan, because the pricing is absolutely crazy. So you know, I can go through this, but you can put 12 by 12 paper on here. So you can take a whole sheet of 12 by 12 card or paper, and I'm just grabbing a piece, and it will fit on the flat bed. But why am I whittering about special offers on this one? And the reason is, this is normally, oh, Linda, the guillotine is amazing. She's got all 3. Oh, brilliant. Thank you, Linda. You can see here that fits 12 by 12 paper. If you're wanting to rip your paper up into 4 lots of 6 by 6, there isn't anything easier than this. There really isn't. And of course it will do more than one. I mean, I usually do up to 4 sheets. So if I want to take a piece of A4, I have 12 by 12, I'm going to 4 6 by 6. I can do it that simply. But why am I going on about this? And the reason is, they've all got different jobs, as Helen's just said. If you get this one on the spring offer, you're actually going to receive the one I'm normally got by the side of me, the 8.5 inch, which will take a full sheet of A4 card, you will get that one free. So effectively, you're getting £20 of that. As somebody said when we launched this offer, if you've already got one and you really want that one, and you really want the bigger one, get it while it's on the offer, because even if you've got this one, A, you could have a spare, or B, you could gift it to someone, because of course they come boxed. But question, Emma said, I've got a 12 by 12 trimmer. Do I need the guillotine? It depends, Emma, on whether you're a guillotine or trimmer person. I struggle with trimmers, certainly when they're very, very big. And what I find is a lot of the time, they don't have a flat bed, a trimmer. So a trimmer, you just pull out the arm and you put it down. So if you don't get it right against the arm, you don't get an even cut with guillotine, because it's flat bed and all the measurements are on, then it really, really works. And the other thing is, again, with a trimmer, because Sarah Jane's just said she worries about cutting too many. So I've got 3 sheets of 300 GSM here, but look, because of this block, if I want to cut 3 to, say, my favourite 5 3/4, I put it to the 5 3/4, push it up, cut. Look, doesn't move. Go to 5 3/4, hold this down, doesn't move. And so I've got 3 perfect 5 3/4, 5 3/4. That's why I love a guillotine as opposed to. But the other option is in there as well, because there's a couple of others. And I don't have the graphics for these, because the graphics just didn't work. If you want just the 8.5 inch guillotine, or you fancy the 8.5 inch guillotine, then you can actually get that one, and I'm trying to find it. I think it's £20. So let's just see this one. I should click on my own thing. So it's £19.99, but you will get the mini one free with it. So again, you're saving yourselves, I think that's about £12. It's literally like giving them you for cost, I think. Something like that is absolutely crazy. But the other option we've got on there as well is, and this is something that I'm going to take advantage of, is the Daubers. Because you know we do the Daubers, and we do the Daubers in the case. So the Dauber and the case together for 40 Daubers in the actual case is £19.99, which is a crazy value as it stands. But at the minute with that, you will actually get 24, a bag of 24, so 5, 10, 15, 20. So you'll get that many Daubers extra free. So you're going to get 64 Daubers and the case for the price of 40 in the case. So that's the other sort of spring offer. So it's really worth having a look at the spring offers that we've got on there, because whether it effectively, everything is almost half price. I mean, I think that the pack of Dauber refills is like £19.99 or something on its own. So effectively, you're getting a double of that, or you're going to get an 8.5 inch guillotine and get the 6.5 inch free. It's exactly the same. Or you're going to get, if you want the big 12 by 12, you're going to get the 8.5 inch free. So really, really good value and really, really good offers. So we'll get the link put on again so you can actually see, if you want to click through on that and see the offers for the spring offer. And I really should do something. I could do an entire hour on guillotines and what we use them for and what we can use them for. But I'm not going to, because what I did promise tonight, and I did say, oh, I'm not keen on trimmers, they don't cut as well. I genuinely, and Mountjoy said that, and I'm 100% with you on that. I struggle with trimmers. They have their place. But as Susan's just said, that's what she's finding. It's not cutting well, so ordered a large guillotine. The reason is, a lot of the time, you don't have the lip and a flat bed. With a trimmer, it depends on how flat it is. Unless you've got one of those Fiskars ones with the actual flat base. Even then, I struggle pulling the thing down and I move it. A guillotine gives me a lot better cut. But, you know, that's... It's about what we prefer. I've always called myself a guillotine guy. You know, that's my thing, realistically. I've always been more and more into guillotines than anything else. But the other thing we were going to go through tonight, and I wanted to do, so I'm going to be doing this in, don't forget, it's a double hour tonight. So you've got me for an extra hour at 7 o'clock. Don't forget, we do Craft Cave live from here again. What's this one? Nicholas said, guillotines work out cheaper in the long run as you don't... Oh, I've had so many questions. As you don't have to keep buying blades or have the cutter discontinued and then made useless. That's a very good point. If you listen to this... Sorry, I keep going on about these. I just love them. That sound is the steel there that is constantly sharpening the blade. This one of mine is now got to be 4 or 5 years old. Everybody who's watched me for that amount of time knows how long I use it. But everyone knows, but it cuts as true today as it cut when I first bought it. And it's as sharp. So here, if I want to cut literally the smallest slither, someone's just said they've got the Fiskars trimmer. Who said that? Where are we? Judith McDowell, I love my rotary 12-inch Fiskars trimmer, but I've not used it since I bought the 12-inch guillotine from Doncaster. It's just so much easier. I mean, look how thin that is. That is, and it doesn't feather, and there's nothing on it. That's why I use it so much, literally all the time, all my classes and everything. So, moving on. Good evening, Samantha. And Julie, I got everyone saying hello, and I feel really bad. And someone who was late. Karen, were you on your treadmill? That's very good. I think that's very good. I blame myself. I say I stand up all the time, so that's me doing that. So, I said I'd go through some more demonstrations using the new collection that we launched on Sunday night. So if you missed out on this, you didn't get to see us on Sunday, then you can see it all on the link I've given there. Gives you the link to all of them. And these are slimline dies. So what I'm going to do this hour is I'm going to show you how we can make smaller cards and projects, because I only got to do one demo, so I thought I'll do an extra hour as well as Craft Cave to give you that extra value that I think is necessary. But what I mean by slimline is, I'm wittering everywhere, aren't I, tonight? Sorry, I badly cut my thumb, so I've had to have it all bandaged and steri-stripped and all sorts of things. If anyone's wondering why I've got a finger condom on, these are all slimline dies, and that actually means that every single die will go through your mini machine. So every single die will go through your mini machine, whether it's ours or someone else. And what someone else said on that one, someone else has made a comment on, I like having both trimmer and guillotine. Use a guillotine most, it's always out on the side. I do, to be honest. I absolutely, I love my guillotine. It's out all of them are out, all three of them are out constantly. So these slimline dies will fit through the whole slimline machine. So there is a special price for these if you missed out on it. I know loads of people watched the launch on Sunday night. So I know loads of people, hundreds of you have got them coming to you. But if anyone missed out, I've popped it on the side of the screen for all 4 of the dies. But I did say that I would show you some more demonstrations. And what I wanted to show you is one of the things that I felt was really, really important about slimline dies and making them. I'm coming up with them is so that everybody thinks if you've got a little machine, all you can do is cut little flowers and little pieces and things. And the idea was I wanted you to be able to make whole big cards with this collection. So this first demonstration, I'm using just one from the Toscana edges, and I'm using just this edge here. So the Toscana edges have 4 dies in it. So I'm going to try this. I'm going to use these other 3 as well tonight. What's this one? Then Jackie Jones, they're not. Mine started feathering the edges, and even after trying various remedies was told I'd need a new blade. Bought it because it was sold as never needing a new blade. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to start saying about other people's, but I know the one you're on about. I tried it and I didn't get on with it. but that was my view. But again, a blade cannot keep being sharpened when it moves and it's a point. That's why the fact that it's a large thing. I mean, do you remember the ones we had at school? The big wooden ones with the guillotine. They've been in those classes since the 40s, some of them, and were still working just as well. That's why I'm more into them. So I want to show you how we can make a big card using these. Now, the demo I did on the craft store was this one. I just love the colours of this. Oh, Sheila says she hasn't used her trimmers since getting the guillotine. I can understand that one. So I made that one, but I wanted to show you, this was made with a mini machine. So how can we make a different card? And again, something a little bit bigger. And I want to make a sort of 5x7. So I also, you know me, I've got a big thing at the minute for the beautiful canvas card. So I thought, let's make something that shows off how those colours all match together. So what I've done is I cut 4 pieces down, and again in my guillotine, which gives me that straight measurement, and I find it so easy. I will show you how I cut that. So what I've done is I've cut 4 pieces to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches. I wanted it 5x7 by 1, 2, 3 and 3/4. Now that's one of those measurements you might say, oh, that's a bit difficult to do, but it's genuinely not. I'm just going to grab a whole sheet of A4 and show you first of all how I did it. So John is our witch expert. My son always consults witch before he buys something. No need to with John's products. Thank you, Anne. That's lovely. I mean, I buy products and use them from everywhere. I will always use what's best. So all I do is A4 card straight into the guillotine. It's next to me all the time. I just go to the 5-inch. But what I love about this is the measurements on here are accurate, and it's a flatbed. So it doesn't have the bumps in it. So it means when I do the bumps, when I have the bumps, your card can actually move and stretch. So all I do is go to 5, push it up against that wall, and I can check that it's right, because look, there's a 5-inch line, and I just go, that's it. 2 3/4, a measurement that you know we're used to doing 2-inch, 3-inch, 4-inch, or 5 centimeters, 6 centimeters, because all the metric are there if you use metric. But 2 3/4, really easy. I go to 2 3/4, and again, there's a line, because on the 8.5 inch, there's a line at every 1/4 inch. Makes it so much easier. Cut. But that is clean, crisp. I've got to be careful I don't paper cut myself. I don't want to ruin my other hand as well. But you can see it's clean, it's crisp, and it's cut perfectly. And of course, this is years old. This is not a new one. This is not a new colour or anything like that. This is my original one from about 4 or 5 years ago. So let's get on to the die cutting, because that's the important bit, isn't it? So Marina's just said, I hope the offer's on next month. I don't honestly know. I thought it was just for the bank holiday, but it's not. So I don't know how long it's on for, Marina. So I don't want to give you wrong advice. I really don't. I don't genuinely know. It could be, it might not be. I did check this morning that it was still on, because it is a spring offer, so I don't know how long it's going to last. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my mat here. And this is something, I know I shouldn't say it, that I've tried to do quite clever. Yeah. So I wanted to do something that's quite clever on these dies. So if you notice here, I'm going to bring this right up. Can you see the line continues and gives you a little dot? That actually gives you a measurement dot. So if you put your paper down or your card down on the mat and move it up, look, basically I can get it straight by matching that dot to the line on each side, which means that I'm effectively cutting off 1 inch. And the distance between there and that point is 1 inch. Anyone would think I'd done that on purpose. Now, I have to use my left hand to pull the tape off, because I use my thumb, and I can't. So I'm just going to take that and put that on like that. Yeah. I'm going to put it onto my mini machine. and it will take up to 3 inches, and I'm only doing 2 3/4. Put the top plate on and simply run it through. And this is why I really think a mini machine is fantastic. This is the sort of thing that I would buy for someone who's just getting into crafting. I remember when Sam's mum got into it, we were like, ooh, I would have got her this one. I think we ended up getting her. We ended up getting her a Big Shot, which was crazy. It was too big. I've got to agree with you, Nicola. I'd be lost without the mat. I use it so much. You see that all that detail is cut just with one pass through in the mini machine. They are, the smaller the machine, to be fair, the tighter it is, because the less distance there is between the rollers. So you see that you've got all of that pattern cut, but because we used the mat to lay it out, it's completely straight. And that's one of the things that people, I think, really struggle on. I really struggled on. If I do that without, let me just clear these little bits out, because I'm going to cut another one just so that I can show you. Honestly, my eyesight is getting worse. It really is. So if you've got any questions, guys, fire them in. Obviously, I've put on here, I've put on the side the new actual, the new collection. If you did miss out, if you didn't see it on Sunday and you haven't seen it since, then the collection is available with a saving, but there's also an option for you to get the machine in there, to get all 4 dies and the mini machine, if you really want that. But I would say get yourself the mini machine. It is so useful, certainly with new flowers coming only in this size. It means you can sit and just in front of the telly and do it. And I keep saying that, but I think it's just so good that you can. So normally you're limited to what you can do. I think someone said on Sunday all they were ever doing with the mini machine was cutting circles and small shapes, and that was it. That's all they were able to do. So remember, guys, any questions, fire them in. So laying it out is easy. Without the mat, if I try and get that straight, I think that that's straight. I'm going to put it on the mat now and watch it be straight. No, it's not. Look. It's straight there. Let's pull this down to show you a bit better. It's on the inch line there. It's well below there. So to me, that looks as if it's straight, but it's not. So what I'm going to do is I match the 2 points. So I've matched it up against the inch line on the top. I match the 2 points of the die against the next inch line, which gives me the perfect space. Oh, Anne says she's looking forward to the peony die coming. Yeah, the peony dies will be on their way as well, that we did on Saturday. I think they're all, I think the original stock's all gone. They're now on an extended delivery. But remember, they were, because of the bank holiday. Oh, wrong plate, John. Because of the bank holiday and because of it being America, they were on a 7 to 10 day, so it might take a little bit longer. Oh, Sarah Jane says the mini machines are good for sentiments. They are. Actually, the ones I've done for Christmas would fit through here. See, can you see there? It's already separating because it's already cut that card. Now, I have a habit of pulling back just because I think it really helps, but that's me. Let's take you up a little bit. There we go. But you see there, because I've done that, I've got not only every bit cut, but these are now perfectly straight. So if you wanted to make a card like we did on Sunday night, and don't forget there's a video for that, and there are 7 videos already to do. So there's 7 videos already out there of this slimline collection. And in Craft Cave at 7, I'm going to be showing you how to make big cards with them, because you don't want to thinking. Michael, I'd actually mentioned this. I managed to slice a knife through the top and halfway down. So it's got steri strips and plasters and a finger condom and all sorts on it. I've had to have a shower with a plastic glove on and all sorts. Marina had a little handbag shaped one years ago, but wouldn't swap my Pro Cut now due to hand problems. I understand that. That's why I like this one, because it turns quickly and it's bigger, but it's a lot less pressure. But a lot of people struggle. My hands are getting older. But can you see now, if I put that flat against there, and then put that flat against there, it's exactly straight. It's exactly straight. So, here we go. I've got 4 pieces cut. In fact, let's use the 2 I've done tonight, so that nobody thinks I've like spent longer time doing it. So it's how can we really play with colour with just one die and make sure that it actually works for a bigger card. So what I've got here is I've cut a piece of the plum colour. So I've cut all 4 colours. So I've cut the sort of the plum, the sherbet, the lavender and the lilac, all to that same size of 5 inches. Yeah, and 1 1/4. And yeah, I know the machine you mean. It has got, Judith's got the same one. The handle on it, it's just, it doesn't have the thing on it. And if you notice on this, look, that is a silicone grip handle. So that is supposed to go on, and it's silicone grips. So you don't have to, if you need a grip, you need like sort of like raised edges or whatever, you've got that, or you slide the silicone handle on, and it is so much more comfortable to hold like that. But it's all metal inside. So anyway, sorry, these pieces. So what I wanted to do with this is I don't want to have a lot of depth, and I'm going to use the mat. So I've cut myself a 5x7 piece. So I've cut myself a 5x7 piece in the sort of darkest shade, the mulberry, and I'm starting with the lightest shade. And all I'm doing is using glue. And I'm not putting any glue on this because I don't want this. I want it to flip up. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going on at, there we go, the 3 inch mark. Yeah, giving enough distance at the bottom. Yeah. Then I'm going to take the next one, which is the next lightest colour on. And you could do this card. So this is 4 die cuts. That's it. So through your mini machine, this takes you no time at all. It really is quick. And I put the pink tape around my handle and then put the silicone handle back on so it wouldn't come off again. And all I'm going to do is just look, watch, line it up so that underneath that colour, I get the lighter colour. Can you see that? But by not gluing those down, you get far more of a 3D look. So I'm then going to take the next colour and do exactly the same. And here we go. What was it someone said? What's how Nicola said? Nicola knows us more than me. That one was meant only to use for embossing, not cutting. Oh, yeah, I remember that one, the handbag shaped one, yes. It was originally, because die cutting machines were first invented like this to do embossing. They were sort of like embossing boutique things. So again, pull it up until I've got just to the edge of that colour. It means you get it completely even, but already 3 cuts and I think it looks really good. And just mixing the colours from one pack, that's why we did the pack, just makes it so good. So there we go. I'm just going to take then the last one, the sort of mulberry colour, and I'm just going to place that one on again at that same height. And you can see there, I've got the most, I think, beautiful decorative panel. Really simple, but it looks so much complicated. And of course you have got that, you've got that little bit of ease, but it's one die. That's literally all we did. So all I'm going to do next, oh yeah, Crafter, I've heard that's a really good, she's got the Sizzix side cut mini machine. I've heard that's good. It's about the plate staying flat. That's the important thing. I've been using this over a year and they're still staying flat. It's great. But yeah, all of these dies will fit in all of your mini machines. You don't have to have ours. That was the whole idea. Excuse me, getting a drink. That the slimline machines would work for absolutely everything. So I can then mat and layer. if I want to. So I actually got a larger card here, cut to 5.5, 7.5, with a mat of white and pink, and it just, to me, brings it together. And the only foam tape I've got on here, Nicola, can't remember now which one it was. There was, Cuttlebug did a little mini like handbag one, I believe. I had a one called a Prism from Spellbinders, which unfortunately I broke very quickly. But see that on that, you've got a really nice, I'm going to show you this one front on, but there, it's got a real boutique thing. And the one thing I get asked a lot on this is, how would you add a sentiment onto this? So where would you put a sentiment? And this is why, to me, where my sort of mini comes in. This is where I use my mini guillotine. So remember, this one is free with the 8.5 inch guillotine if you wanted that one. But this is where that comes in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a scrap of card. So I'm going into my scrap bin. Yeah. Really simple. And all I want to do, I'm just going to trim that down to 1 inch. But that's one of the reasons I use the mini, because it's really good for cutting things to the smaller size. Yeah. And then I'm going to take 2 more colours and I'm going to cut 1 inch and 1/8. And again, can you see here, there's little lines on this. So it's easy. When you're cutting small pieces, it's really difficult. I've made that too small. Oh, honestly. So I want 1 inch. Let's just check I got that measurement right. I did, at 1 inch. So I want 1 inch and 1/8, which is there. There we go. And then I want 1 inch and 1/4. And this is why I love using a mini. Cuttlebug, someone says. Pretty, says our Julie. Again, any questions, guys, fire them in. 1 1/4, line running all the way down. So easy to cut smaller bits for sentiments and things. So let's just grab a sentiment. So I'm going to grab my Scent with Love because I love that. I had that card design in my head ready for the dies arriving. Dawn, yeah, as soon as I designed this, I thought that's exactly what I want to do with it. So there's no black in the card, so I'm using grey. So remember, what I've done is I've just used one of our canvas card packs. And I've used all 4 colours from it. So you can do the same thing with the pinks, with the reds, with the blues, with the turquoises. You could make loads of them. Denise has, oh, I know which one you mean. Yeah, you can't keep the plates flat on that one, Denise. They are, yeah, that's the one Sam had and he didn't get on with it. I haven't used it, but he did. So let's just stamp our sentiment in the middle, Scent with Love. And then I'm just going to glue that. And I know that this is too long, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to show you how my mini guillotine comes in handy for this. So I'm just going to glue that colour on. I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to glue, so this is like the sherbet colour, then I'm going to glue the plum on. But you see how fine, people are always asking me about my really fine borders. That's how I do it with the guillotine. That's how I get that sort of 1/16 of an inch either side. But I want to trim this down because obviously it's a little bit too long. So I'll grab when I remember, there it is. So I turn this onto its back, and this is where I think it's so much better than a paper trimmer, because look, I can put that in and that's smooth. If I want to make it that little bit, if I want to change a little bit off it from the other side, that's cut through 3 layers and glue. So again, if I want to get it to the size, I simply put that into there at the overhang and cut down. So I'm cutting down into different things. Oh, Leslie's joining us from Dubai. She's just got in from dinner. I hope you had something lovely, Leslie. I got a box of samples from Leslie the other day. They are beautiful for something new we're doing. But you see there, perfect little sentiment, and that will fit on the top. So if I want to go, ooh, give a sentiment to it, I can really simply, and I know because I've kept everything in inch measurements that it will really, really work. So let's just put that on, and there we go. Oops, wet glue. But apart from one layer of foam tape, this would be a normal size card that we could actually send really simply. So we could send through the post as normal posts. You know, we're not going to have to pay an awful lot of money for that. And that's what I love to do with that one. So I did say I'd show you how to use the other ones. Hang on, let's give you a front on. There you go. Looks pretty. I think that is just so pretty. And the colours are just beautiful on it. But it looks so deep. And of course it's not. It's completely flat, but it's one die. But that's the great thing about the card. You see all the little dots and things in there. They all work because they're all cut lines rather than being actual. That's where I tend to put my cards when I finish them. So I don't look at them. I go back and look at them afterwards to see if I like them or not. So I did say we'd show you something with this one. And what I want to show you is I am going to be using a slightly bigger machine this time. So I am going to be using the bigger machine because I wanted to work my way up in these 2 hours. So I'm going to use this panel here, yeah? And what I wanted to do is, well, Hans had mine of their own and somehow managed to, oh no, Marina, I feel really bad now. Managed to order the guillotine before I could stop them. Oh, you've not done what I do, is it? It's, hello, Mr. Credit Card. Yeah, I've been using that a bit much recently. There we go. We're only young ones, as my mum used to say. So I've got a card blank here, 5x5, commercially bought. So I've not made this one. I've just bought a commercial 5x5 card blank. I'm going to use my mat again because I want to get it straight. And I'm going to use the beautiful sort of, it's like a lace. And this is almost like, to me, this is almost like doing a Clean and Simple card. Oh, what's that? Oh no, who's had an accident? Oh, bless. Daughter phoning, his grandson has broken his arm playing football. Oh, bless. Yeah, we all have naughty fingers and they're all yeah, I'm as bad. So what I want to do is, I'm just going to take one of the lines. So remember I said this was a 5x5, so I'm going to put it on there, okay? And I'm taking the 3-inch line. And again, there's a little dot that shows you where it finishes. So it's actually really easy to get this in the right place. Yeah, I've got a poorly thumb. It's got some steri strips and things in it. I put it with a knife. I actually let a knife drop when I was cooking and went to catch it. And you would think, of all people, I should know that from chefing for years. So obviously that's not going to go through my mini machine. So this is where I'm staging up. So now I'm using my A5, but I'm just going across because it's such a small die. We know we're always saying never go across, but you can. So I'm just going to take that, bring in my Kaleido. Let's just take you up a little bit. And I'm just going to go, and I'll jump. Whoa! Jump. Yep, it'll jump. The shark almost. But I will show you how we can do it the other way around. But you can see there, I've got every bit cut. So every bit is cut through. So all I have to do is to pop that out. See that now? This has happened a couple of times to me. This is where a glue eraser, sometimes you might get a little bit of pink left behind from the glue on the tape. It's so rare, but it does happen. There we go, that's taken that off nice and back to white. But you see there, we'll keep them in the package and hopefully hubby will be in the garden when delivered. I met a lovely lady at a workshop once who told me, and no one should have to, but I found it funny, that when she went to her first class, she bought loads of stuff. And she came home and her husband said to her, oh my gosh, That's really worth it for like your £30 day for the class fee. I mean, it's a few years ago. And she went, oh yes, it is, isn't it? And from then on, he believed that everything that she brought home after a class was included in the class. She never said it was, she just let him believe that. There again, she did buy herself a die cutting machine, and she actually told him that she won it in the raffle. Do I know? I don't know when Jackie said, do I know when the 3mm Kaleido plates will be back in stock? I don't. If you give the Art of Craft a ring after sort of 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, between 10 and 3, then Penny will be able to advise you if they've got any in stock. It may be they're just out of stock on the website, and we don't know. So you can see there, I think, for Clean and Simple, that just looks so much like Broderie Anglaise. So I'm going to put it back on that 5-inch mark, and I'm going to put the next one, I'm going to do exactly the same, but I'm going to put it on the 4-inch line. So we put it on the 3-inch line, I'm going to put it on the 4-inch line. And again, but if you're really worried about going through that way, fold your card back over and you can go through that way. And all it will do is it will leave a little impression on the back of the card. Now, I actually quite like that, to be honest. It's one of those things that I actually quite like. The other thing is, I'm going to try this. You can, of course, I think you can, let's try it. Use your mini plates in your Kaleido. Oh, you can. If you just want to put pressure in one place. Oh, how clever is that? I've just learned something. That's cool. My friend had stuff delivered to her neighbour and came unstuck when her neighbour's husband gave the parcel to her husband. I was always of the attitude, certainly with my ex, that, he spent so much money on golf things that I was fully justified in anything I got craft-wise. So just going to pop all these little bits out. So, really simple, clean, easy card. That's what I wanted to show you in this hour, was how we can make really... And you see, what it does is it puts an impression on, which I quite like, but we're going to cover that anyway. So there's our 2 little white strips in there. Really simple, clean and simple. And then all I've done is taken a piece of card, this time from the pinks, and I've cut this to 4 7/8 by 4 7/8. And I will show you how I do that, because sometimes the measurements throw us out. So I'm going to go with this deeper pink, I think. So if I want to make something to go in a 5x5 card and I need to take it out, all I need to do is I go to 5 and I want it a bit shorter, and I pull back by one of the little long strokes, which takes 1/8 of an inch off, and cut. And the same again, put it to the 5 and pull it back. I get my mats and layer measurements from using that. Karen, could you thread through the holes? You could, Karen. That would look amazing. Oh, Audrey plays golf as well. So oh gosh, crafting and golf, 2 very expensive crafts. Yeah. I work, so I buy what I want. Same with hubby. At times he thinks John's parcels are delivered by the Art of Craft, though. Yeah, I'm sure he does. The thing is, you've worked for it, you should buy what you want. I've always had that attitude. Really, genuinely have. So I'm just going to add that little bit of glue on and put it in. And there's a reason why I made it that bit smaller. Number one, I get a nice little border around it. And I think it always looks nicer when you get a border. But secondly, it closes. If you go full 5 inches, it won't close. It will jam in the card. But you see there, so simple and clean. And then all I have to do is I'm going to grab some of these that I've already got cut. So these are using the flowers and leaves, again, slimline dies. So I've just cut one in a couple of other colours of that. And I've got 2 colours of the leaves cut. Nice and simple. And I'm just going to turn those over. You could do this in white. You could do it all in white. Oh, Janet is only 11, bless. Send him our love. It's awful. At that age, Janet, I'd already cracked my head open twice. So I'd already cracked my head open twice. I'd broken my wrist. I'd broken my arm. I was the most accident-prone kid ever. I really was. Hey, good evening, Kim. I hope you're well. Love it when people pop in and say hello. Hello. So I'm just going to pop those on. And you see, one of the reasons why these were designed like a sprig like that. So let's bring that up. Can you see there? Because a flower fits exactly. So if you're ever struggling to get your leaves to work with your flowers, these are perfect. This is what these were designed to do. So I'm just going to put some glue onto there. And do that one. There we go. But can you see? To me, that is the perfect clean and simple card. Yes, we've added flowers and leaf, but can you see the colour through? Let's hold it forward. Yes, Junie, I've cut my thumb. You'll have to watch back because I explained it all. But I think that looks as if it's almost studded with pearls, but you see there the colour through it. And then when you open it up, but I think as a clean and simple card, that to me is one of the best and easiest to do. Yeah. Would they fit in the frame makers? Aha, you're going to have to watch at 7 to see that one, Karen. But yes, this one will fit in the frame makers because it's 5 inch. It's 5 inches. Oh, here's me again thinking I've already put it down onto the other one and I haven't. But one of the questions that I would ask is, how can I make that or something similar to it if I've only got a mini machine? Well, we know we can do the flower and leaf because they can do that one. So we know we can do the flower and leaf on that, but how would we do that? Because obviously it doesn't quite fit. Well, it's really, really simple. Remember I said, we put it on our mat again. So we're in 1 inches, we're in 2 inches, yeah? So if I cut myself a piece of, I'm gonna have to make very quickly, let's grab a card blank and I'll trim it down. Oh, great. And all of the ones I've got now aren't scored, which is always fun. Where's my... Oh, there it is. I can't do it without my proper bolding. If you made it a tent folding card, you could add a sentiment between the 2 lines. You could. That would look beautiful, Anne. What a lovely idea. So I'm just going to fold that and I'm going to trim this down. So this is 600 GSM to 5x5. See how easy it is. That's why I go on about how good the guillotines are. That's why, to me, the sort of spring offers are really, really worth it. So if anyone missed out tonight, I am just going through all the bits that we did on, all the stuff that we launched on Sunday night for anyone who missed out on that. But I'm going to try and get you. But also, we were covering off the spring offers. So if you get a chance, have a look at the spring offers, because they are absolutely, basically, it's a buy one, get one free almost on the guillotines, which is worth it to anybody. It is absolutely crazy. If you buy the 12-inch flatbed, you're going to get the 8.5-inch free. And at $39.99 or $39.98, that's cheap anyway, because I know my first flatbed 12-inch I bought was about 70 quid from a graphics company. It didn't work. So how do I do this? So how am I going to do this? Well, like you say, you could do it that way and stamp your sentiment in there. Absolutely right, Anne. What a lovely idea. But how am I going to do it on a card when it won't fit through the machine? And that's what I wanted to show you. And what we do for that is really simple. So I've got some plain white card that's exactly the same as that one. You could cut another card blank up if you wanted to. Remember, guys, any questions, fire them in on Facebook. Wow, can't believe that. Look at the time. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this yeah, to 3 inches. Okay. It's always worth having a look in the clearance section as well. So here we go. So I'm just going to take this 3-inch strip, which I know will fit through my machine, take my little die and do exactly the same. I'm putting it on the inch strip, but then I'm going to put it on my mini plates. There we go, find my scraper. I'm going to put it on my mini plates. You see, 3 inches fits. And I'm just going to run that through. Now, I used that earlier. Where did I put it? That's the thinner one, isn't it? Honestly, I am my own worst enemy for losing things. Talk amongst yourselves while I find where I put that like a silly person. That's that size. Where have I put that? That's the only problem with the mini ones. Keep them separate. Because if, like me, you end up doing something completely silly with it. Oh, there it is. It's right over the other side. It's crazy. So I'm just going to run that through. Leslie says she loves the guillotine. She uses them all the time, permanent. Well, she says permanently. Very posh, our Leslie. So it's just run it through. You see everything cut, and it's easy. That was easier to turn with that die in it than my big machine. So I've got every little bit out. Exactly the same, and then what I'm going to show you is how do I do this to join it on and not make it look like it's just stuck on. And that's where this little edge die comes in here. So I'm just going to put that again down on my mat because I need to have the right measurement. I'm just going to clean out my die. Okay, and I'm going to put it on the other inch line. So I'm going to take it to that other inch line. Remember, swap hands, John. You can't take tape off with that hand. And I'm just going to tape that down. Oh, that's a good idea. Julie says if she has a good weekend at events, she may have to treat herself. That's the best way to think about it. We have to. And then I'm just matching that up to the edge. So again, hold it with the right hand, John. Put some tape on. What this will do is this will give me a really nice scalloped edge that matches that scallop. And it will help to get rid of a harsh line and make it look as if you intended all the time for it to be in 2 pieces. So just make sure we get our piece big, because the plates are 3 inches. The aperture is 3.125. I think that makes such a difference. So just run that through. Take my edge off. You can see then, look. I get that really nice, fancy edge. It cuts the holes exactly the same. I'm going to run out of time if I'm not careful. So, but of course, I can just adhere that straight onto my card blank, and it looks like it's supposed to be. So I could take a piece of the card, the colour, pop it underneath, trim it down with my guillotine, put it to size, add my leaves and add my flower. And and all that we'll see on this edge is the fluted edge. So it looks like it's supposed to be. So don't think, yeah, as Anne's just said, the slimline dies are perfect for any new crafters or grandkids to-dos. They really are, because they can't damage them, but you can still make really good cards. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to finish in a second, because I've got the next one to do in a minute. So don't forget, let's click over. You can join me on Craft Cave Live on the John Next Door official page in 6 minutes time. Whoa, I'm just going to have to go straight live, aren't I? And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you how we can use exactly the same dies that we've just used to make bigger cards. So I'm going to use exactly the same two, and I've stolen both of these from our Leslie, but I wanted to show you, oops, quickly, how we can make a big card with those dies, exactly the same dies. I love this one, and how they work really well with the frame maker. So join me, if you can, in a couple of minutes over on